Hello my beautiful people, my name is Rose and I write and read books in an audiobook format for you to enjoy while doing homework or art or whatever you enjoy doing. These are chapters 14 to 18. You may think that's a lot more than usual, but it's actually 16 to 18 are very, very short, so it's not going to be any longer than usual. Sorry I haven't posted this sooner. It's, in all honesty, going to be quite hectic at the moment. I've got like end of year tests and so sorry about that. Thank you for 10 subscribers. That really means a lot to me that 10 people are listening to my books. It means so much. I'm really pleased about it. So anyway, on with the video. I hope you enjoy, and leave a like, subscribe if you want to, and it really means a lot. Chapter 14, A Leap of Faith. It had taken 2 days to come to the city wall, and it was vast and majestic, and it was made of cement and stone. A girl's face, maybe about 3 years old, with blonde hair and striking purple eyes, was graffitied on it. They all gazed up at it. "So, what's the password?" Willow said. "What?" Alice asked. "The password, you know, how we get into the city." Alice didn't answer. "Alice, you do know the password, right?" "No." "Then how the hell are we going to get in?" "We're gonna jump." "Jump?" Willow said, half laughing. "How are we going to jump? It's miles high," she said. "You have your power, don't you? You can use the air to push us up. All we have to do is jump." "And how do you suggest I get up?" "The same way." Okay. I'll go first, then Luca, then you, and then you, Willow. Will that work?" "Yeah, I think so." "Good. Okay, I'll chuck down the staff when I'm up." Willow watched as Alice backed up, raising the staff. 3, 2. Willow focused on the magic within her, and when it was strong enough, she shouted, 1. Alice charged forward and swung her staff, and it propelled her off the ground, just as Willow pushed at the air to fly her to the top of the wall. They knew Alice was at the top when Luca had sidestepped the battle staff flying towards his head. "Jesus!" he cried. "Get ready." And then he was flying through the air. Once they were all on top of the wall, Luca pointed out, "We have no way to get down." Wait, come with me." Willow followed Alice down the thin edge of the wall. "Jump," Alice said. "What?" Luca looked as shocked as she felt. "Jump," Alice shouted, and she leaped from the wall. "She is mad," Luke said, still with the shocked look on his face. And he was looking at the place she'd last been. Yes, she is. But she also knows what she's doing." And Willow leaped off the wall, and she felt herself fall and fall. All of a sudden, a pink wisp of air took her safely to the ground next to Alice. "Hi." "Hello." "Do you think Luke is coming?" Alice asked. "Yeah, he's coming." As if on cue, Luca fell onto the floor in a heap. "You," he said, pointing at Alice, "are crazy, and you, Willow, trust her too much." "You're alive, aren't you?" Willow responded. "Shush. Shall we get going?" "Yeah, let's go." It was odd walking around a place that used to be so familiar, but now it was like another planet. From what Willow remembered of the city, it used to be colourful and flamboyant, with parks full of dandelions and butterflies. The buildings used to be made of red brick, with beautiful artwork painted on the sides. Each flat had glass balconies that friendly neighbours chatted on and gossiped with a cup of tea in their hands. However, now the buildings that were still intact looked old and drained, and their lives had been sucked from them. The buildings had fallen on pretty little grasslands where she would have played as a young girl, and every person that was stuck here didn't leave the house, and obviously tried to keep their distance from each other. The scarce amount of people on the streets always eyed them warily and didn't go any closer than a metre. Willow waded her way through the telephone wires and the dusty rocks carefully. The city was dead. It was a dead city. Her old home had been shattered into rubble and grub and a good memory. Her school was still intact, but it had no life. She now saw why everyone called it the Dark City. Corpses were left to rot in the streets, and the smell was overwhelming. There was Some were new and some were old, and all were malnourished. They walked in silence and taking in the horrifying truth. "Ah," Lucas said, breaking the silence. "We may have a problem." "What?" Alice asked. "There are no guards." "They should be everywhere, but we're far, far away, and yet they're nowhere near. If Dark Rose wanted us to die, she would have put guards and robots all over the place. She knows we're coming, and she wants to kill us." So, this wasn't making any sense to her. This was a good thing to Willow. "So there's a trap inside, and Dark Rose wants us to walk in easily." Willow could feel her face slacken. Oh, hell. And they still had days of walking. Chapter 15. Death's Row. They hung around and been travelling most of the day, and the sun was slowly melting into the large grey castle, but they didn't rest and they didn't slow. No one had ambushed them yet, and Alice took that as a win. Yet, it made Alice uneasy. "We should rest," Luke said. "No," Willow said immediately. "No, we are not stopping. My brother is probably getting tortured and I need to get him back." "No, Willow, you're shattered. If we must face Dark Rose tomorrow, we'll need to be strong and ready for anything." "Alice, no. Come on, he's my brother and I can't leave him with an insane god." "He will die with that insane god if we're not strong, and so will we. We have to set up camp." After a bit more arguing, Willow finally agreed, and they found an old little bungalow to set in. It was cold and they couldn't set fire as it would attract unwanted attention, and soon they were all asleep. They started moving before the sun had even started rising. Willow looked tired and upset, and day by day she was getting more and more worried about her brother. Alice was trying to calm her down. Alice wasn't good at making friends, in all honesty, and she cherished the one she'd got. And so she was going to save Will, or at the very least, try. They walked and walked and walked for hours until they came to the only building really still intact. A modern house which was tall and loomed over the buildings. "Huh," Willow said. "This used to be a hotel?" Luca asked. "Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but she got people to convert it into a palace," Alice said. "Not vain at all." "Nope." "So, how do we get in?" "We walk in, fight whoever is going to catch us, save Will, possibly kill Dark Rose, and walk out." "Really? That's your plan?" Willow asked. "Please," Alice said. "Stop mocking my terrible plans." And they all chuckled. "We're going to die," Lucas said, still chuckling. "No doubt. Yeah." And they set off through the big gates. Not to their surprise, no attack came on the way to the dungeon. In fact, it was fairly uneventful. The prison was full of crying and wailing moralists, basically anyone who stood against Dark Rose. The only cell that didn't have any wailing or crying from it was the one William was in, and he looked terrible. His magic had been bound, and he was missing fingers and toes that seemed to be growing back because of the mixture he was drinking. The mixture was mostly focusing on the main injuries, so it wasn't doing anything to the bruises, scabs, and cuts on his face and neck and legs. He had what it looked like 3rd-degree burns up his arms and neck again. "Oh my gosh," Willow breathed. "What did she do to you? What did she—" Anger choked her words, and William looked up. He was missing an ear. Willow, you have to get out of here. You have to run. I'm leaving, but I'm taking you with me," she interrupted firmly. No, you must leave. You can leave me here." Tears gleamed in his eyes, and he smiled. "I'll be all right." Willow was properly crying. "You'll die! She'll kill you!" "Willow is right. She will," Lucas said, obviously trying not to cry as well. "I know," Will said, his voice surprisingly calm. "You saved my life," Luca continued. "Now let me return the bloody favour." Luca reached towards Alice's back and yanked the staff off her back. He hit the door. Once. Twice. The 3rd time, the door flung off its hinges and straight into Will's face. "Ow," he whined. "Sorry," Luca said, and walking into the cell and picking Will up and cradling him in his arms. "Let us help," he said, straining his voice, and Willow ran up, helping to pick Will up. He wasn't that heavy. Willow grabbed his ankles and hoisted them over his shoulder, and William winced in pain. They walked out without a bother until Rose, her old mother, stepped out from the shadows. "Hello, Willow," she said, smiling, and they all stepped back. "You came early. What a surprise. Let us go. We aren't here to fight. Not now, anyway," Alice said, walking forward. "Oh, how sweet. You want to save your friend more than you want to kill me. I'll take that as a compliment," she said, and walked past Alice next to Willow. "Such a pretty face you have." Willow turned her head to look at her out of the corner of her eye. "You coming on to me?" "No," she said, and as she touched her bottom lip. "And you have something of mine. You have my power." And Rose ripped Willow's lip right off. Alice ran to Willow as she fell and caught her before she hit the ground. Dark Rose was moving her hand slowly and drawing something out of Willow, a colour that she hadn't seen before, a colour that didn't exist. Willow's body went limp, and Alice felt her heart stop, along with Willow's. She died right there in Alice's arms. A low, guttural sound came out of Alice's lips, and it was a sound of pain and loss all in one. It was a sound that had only come out once before, when her parents died. It was a pain not yet fathomed. And then the noise became a wail of anger and grief, and then everything was happening so quickly. Chapter 16. She was on her feet. She was running at Dark Rose. Hands on Dark Rose's throat, cutting off oxygen. Murder. Chapter 17. Tears. Loss. Lightning. A storm. In her. Chapter 18. Yelling. Louder now. Luca pulling her away. Saying something. Rose growing distance. Outside now. Walking away. Tired. Droopy. Black. Ooh, another cliffhanger. I'm really sorry I keep on doing this to you guys. You really must hate me. Yeah, so there you go. There's the cliffhanger. You can also understand why I decided to do more than 3 chapters, which I know in one of my videos I said I wanted to keep it to 3 chapters. Or did I? I remember saying that might have been one of my drafts. Yeah, so I hope you like it. This artwork that has just switched slides to was done by my best friend and is honestly the most supportive person you will ever meet. She's so sweet and I love her a bit. She's awesome. So yeah, give her some thanks on that one. She sent it to me a tad late, so that's why it's not part of the thing. But honestly, yeah, they're great. The other artwork, which should be in the thumbnail, I did, so I hope you like that one. So there's, I'm not sure which one I'm going to do as the thumbnail, but the one at the beginning of the video was done by me, and this one is done by my amazing friend, Evie, who was in the last video, which is Rain Opal. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. If you haven't subscribed and you've watched all my videos, please do subscribe, as it means so much to me. And just having so many people view my videos is just so lovely. So thank you to all the people who are still listening and listening to all my videos. It's so overwhelming, and I'm so pleased I have 10 followers. Yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you liked it. Your thoughts or comments in the comments. I was trying to come up with a better word, but that's literally what it is, the comments. Yeah, and I really hope you enjoyed. Have a good week. Bye!